For now, perhaps we will try to get you back on a better line. That's Dr. Ganesh Wignaraja, who's a researcher from the Overseas Development Institute. Let's go back to central Colombo. Archana Shukla, correspondent, is there. Archana, just describe where you are in relation to what has been happening in recent days and also in relation to the very dramatic pictures we've been seeing in the last 20 minutes or so.
Well, I am outside the President's Secretariat. This is the Galle Face Road, which became the face of protest, citizens' protests against the economic crisis here in Sri Lanka. President's Secretariat, along with President's House, which is across the road here, and Temple Trees, which is the Prime Minister's official residence on the other side of the street. All of that has been taken over by citizens in the last 3 or 4 days. But today, just a few hours ago, protesters marched towards the Prime Minister's office, and there have been demonstrations outside where citizen protesters have tried to storm into the office. There have been tear gas and water cannons being fired against the protesters there to stop them from getting inside the Prime Minister's office. All of this culminating as the anger of the citizens against the current government, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the president, who's fled the country, but has yet not put in his resignation, but has made the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe as the acting president of the country. He's imposed the state of emergency and a curfew in the country, looking at increasing protests on ground. But citizens here are not happy with the decision. They wanted both the president and the prime minister to go because they feel that the current dispensation, especially the Rajapaksa family, are responsible for the economic mess that the country is in right now and the crisis and the shortages that each and every citizen here is facing for the last several months. As we stand right now, the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has taken over as acting president. The post of Prime Minister and of the Prime Minister, the cabinet is there, but there are discussions that once the president tenders in his formal resignation, then there would be discussions and a political huddle to get the next government on ground. Let me tell you, that's something that the protesters do not want to happen because they feel they've been saying that the entire 225 parliamentarians must resign. There must be an election, a fresh election to bring in newer representatives. However, that may not be possible in the current scheme of things with the current political crisis ongoing. So there will be a caretaker all-party government that the opposition leaders will have to make once the formal resignation comes in. But till then, the protests that you're seeing on ground will continue because the people need to have confidence in whoever is taking charge of affairs on the political side. Whoever becomes the president needs to have the confidence of the people on the street and citizens of this country. And at this point in time, the decisions that are being made on the political side do not seem to have the support of the people.
Archana, just getting reports in. We have a live page up and running on the BBC News website. Reports of what has been going on in the pictures that we've been seeing. The gates to the Prime Minister's office in Colombo, not far from there, across from where you are. Just in the last few minutes, the gates ripped down, an angry face-off taking place. We have been looking at those pictures just since the top of this bulletin, and to some more updates about what has been happening there. The police forces firing volleys of tear gas, trying to disperse that crowd. However, it sounds like from reports the protesters are remaining defiant. They keep pushing. Those tear gas canisters have been fired up into the air. Our colleague has seen one person hit on the shoulder by flying debris falling from a great height. People are even using traffic cones to scoop up tear gas canisters, throwing them back at security forces. You're watching pictures from the Sri Lankan capital, Colombo. This is BBC World News. And as we watch those pictures from the Prime Minister's residence in Colombo, our correspondent Archana Shukla is also there. She's just slightly across the city, across that square from there where we've seen such dramatic scenes. And And Archana, just the anger, despite the president leaving the country, the anger just seems to be growing.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat?
Yes, I was just saying, Archana, I know it's a very dramatic scene, there is a lot of noise. The anger at those in power only seems to be growing, even though the president has departed.
Absolutely. The president has fled the country right now when he is still the president. And this has angered the people a bit because they understand that the president and the politicians right now are using the executive and they're using the powers that they have with their posts in their favor. As the president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa enjoys immunity from arrest. And that's why he fled the country even before his official resignation was tendered in to the speaker. And we understand he would announce it when he reaches a safe location. That puts him in a safe net, but that is what has angered the people here. In his absence, he's also appointed Ranil Wickremesinghe, who's the current prime minister, as the acting president. So in Sri Lanka, the president has an executive position where he has executive powers. And the president's position is the most powerful at this point in time with the executive presidency in place. So with Ranil Wickremesinghe becoming the acting president, he would be taking charge and giving out orders like the one that he's given as far as the state of emergency and curfew in 3 districts is concerned. This is what is angering the people a lot. Also, most protesters here, most citizens, and we've spoken to a lot of them, smaller businesses, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, even with the exit of the Rajapaksa family. While they were the reason for, while the protesters believe that the Rajapaksa family was the reason for the economic crisis in the country, they don't see what comes next. Who could take charge, who would have the confidence of the people, who the protesters and the citizens feel will work for the citizens of this country. Some of the businesses that we were talking to, they said that the crisis is going to continue for many months to come. The money is not going to come in immediately for all the essential imports, so they will have to depend on international aid. But at the same time, they want somebody at the helm of affairs who thinks country before themselves or people before themselves, and they want a peaceful country. Most of the protesters here are people who are coming with their families. There are children who are coming here, so obviously nobody is coming here to participate in this protest with an intention of violence because they're coming with their families here. But they're coming out because they want to show their support. They want to show and mark their protest against what has been happening in the country. The economic crisis that deepened over the past several months has made a lot of people even leave the country for better prospects in other countries. They're leaving Sri Lanka because they feel that the situation is not going to improve anytime soon. And that's also because they do not trust some of the politicians that they have currently ruling the country.